And I was going to ask you to define the difference between progressive spirituality and evolutionary spirituality, but you just said that
well, yeah, I mean, like all new forms of emergence, whether it's in the physical realm of evolution or the realm of consciousness and culture, at the very beginning it's hard to tell the something more from the something less. So there are many teachers and writers within the progressive spiritual world space who are using the term evolutionary, and I think that's appropriate, understandable. It's okay. It's not a piece of intellectual property. It's more an aspiration to go beyond the limitations of progressive spirituality. After close to 50 years, progressive spirituality has been promising, a great awakening. The last one that they sort of trumpeted was 2012. Nothing particularly significant happened. So this idea that we're all going to just wake up magically is a kind of magical thinking that is one of the shortcomings of progressive spirituality. So evolutionary spirituality attempts to push off against progressive spirituality, against its shortcomings, against its pseudoscience and its magical thinking and its intense commercialism and its lack of being self-critical. Some of the strengths of progressive spirituality is that it's welcoming, inclusive, and pluralistic, and that's a very important strength. But the flip side of that very strength is anything goes relativism, right? Where we're not really, because all paths are honored and included, the idea that some paths are more true than others isn't really something that the culture of progressive spirituality is able to take on very well for, again, appropriate reasons within the cultural task that it's serving within history. But from an evolutionary perspective, truth is a direction of evolution. So all truth, in a sense, points to greater truth, which means that all truth is partial, right? That all truth has a partiality. I mean, the fact that it's usable by humans means that it's necessarily partial. So in the partiality, this is our point of departure. So the ways in which progressive spirituality has failed to achieve a kind of spiritual renaissance or provide spiritual leadership for the developed world, even though it's a significant demographic and it's been influential, it's still not taken seriously by the mainstream media, by the education establishment, by academia, and while, again, the way evolution works is by pushing off against what came before, but now we can move from the antithesis to the synthesis. Now we can, I think through evolutionary spirituality, begin to re-include some of the very important accomplishments of secular spirituality and religious spirituality without going back to relativism. And again, we can recognize a vertical dimension of which way is up without being ethnocentric or chauvinistic. We're trying to include, but we're trying to transcend. And ultimately, the degree of our transcendence will be determined by the scope of our inclusion. So this opportunity to go beyond progressive spirituality, part of it involves better integrating science and better integrating the important spiritual heritage of Western civilization, which is one of the things that evolutionary spirituality attempts to do, and one of the things I attempt to do in the presence of the infinite.
Yeah.